1 recording.
Welcome, Warhammers and Warhammies. It's your lucky day. You've stumbled across the best episode of the Big M's Power Hour to date. I'm your host, Big M, followed with the man that makes it happen, the glue that keeps the community together, Chuck Strengthhammer Moore.
Cheers, Matt. I didn't know I was following you, considering in this video feed I'm above you, which means everybody should go to YouTube and watch this. Like and subscribe. Hit the button, smash. Complain on AOS Coach's channel. Okay, got that out of the way.
Yeah, unsubscribe.
Yeah, just do it. If you're watching us, then go complain to other content creators who are better than us. Why aren't they doing their
Congratulations, you have found the bottom of the bucket.
Come on, Doug over at 2 Plus Tough. Why are you out of content? They're watching us right now.
We got a relatively light news week or news month going through February. So we got, not only was it the shortest month of the year, but also pretty light news all around. Other than our preview.
Yeah. We did have as a country a storm that shut down most of the United States, especially Texas. That was fun.
Well, can't break a few eggs, right?
Exactly. What you gonna do? But hey, good news. It seems like everything's almost caught back up on the GW shipping end. My limited edition Broken Realms Marathi book and dice should be here. Well, they said it should be here by 9 o'clock tonight. I don't believe that based upon living in a rural area. So I should have it tomorrow.
Yeah, I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the Xenos 40K book that went up last week.
Oh yeah, those are always good.
So I did that, and then I finished up the rest of what I need for. Almost the rest of what I need for the Slaves of Darkness 1,000-point army.
Fight Club. Don't talk about it.
Yeah. Can't talk about it. We would, but we can't.
Yeah. But if you have a bunch of friends, all of you should get Slaves of Darkness armies, at least 1K, and have a fight club. But don't tell anyone about it.
Yeah, don't tell anyone about it. But ask people to join, but don't tell them what they're joining.
I'm probably going to make a shirt in the Strengthhammer store for the merch. It just says S2D Fight Club. Like a little Chaos Star.
I want you to corrupt me as hard as you can. Yeah, so that hasn't shipped yet. So
yeah,
I'd say probably 2-3 more weeks.
It'll get there. Also, in some other news for everybody, I'm still trying to save up the money to get myself a new PC, but I've also found that this current PC, this beast of a machine, can play Final Fantasy XIV with my lovely friends, including Matt and my lovely wife. You may hear milling about. Her desk is literally right there. So yeah, there's also not much of a need because if the people watching this channel already don't care about my video quality, I'm in no need to rush.
All right. Well, I think we'll jump straight into the news here.
Okay. I'm boring you with my talk. Sorry.
Yeah, what more do you want?
I don't know.
Let's talk about your desk some more. What color is your desk? We can't see your desk. What color is it?
It's black. I have this wonderful Lego set right here. It's the ship from KOTOR, the MMO, because I played the Sith Warrior. That's a Sith Warrior ship right there. I also have these lovely dice. From Oscar Lars. He's a very good friend. Go check him out. He's an amazing painter. I was kind of blown away that he gave me these dice when I ordered a shirt off of him, because he usually only gives the dice if you get a model off of him. So very kind of him. I also have this fancy knife. Just always good to have a knife handy. You never know when you need to shank a bitch.
Where'd you get that knife?
Oh geez, I don't even know. I've had this one since high school. It's not my favorite knife, strangely enough. I keep it at a place I'm usually at. I have a little Pokeball, Moonball specifically, Stress Ball. I have a Y-Wing, little die-cast Y-Wing. It's my favorite ship in Star Wars, so I got that right there. And the first Lego set I ever got.
There you go.
Always keep it with me. I don't know. Yeah, that's what's on my desk. You asked.
All right.
And I feel bad.
Anything under the desk? You want to talk about? I think you got a printer near you. I think you want to go over that.
No, I don't buy ink for it. It's more of a scanner. We put paper in it just to, keep up with the appearance that we're printing stuff. I just print stuff at work.
That's super fascinating. Do you want to talk about the news now?
I could keep going either way, which you pick
I
a
mean,
path.
it's your channel. I mean, it's
But this is your show.
all right. News.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're going to start off with some fun news here regarding the newest Warhammer store and cafe in Los Angeles.
Who gives a fuck?
Listen,
I'm sorry. Like, cities are dying in the United States, especially Los Angeles, with the way it's been governed. No matter which side of political spectrum you're on, it's why would don't put anything in Los Angeles. Leave Los Angeles. Let it die.
So that means I would expect, probably 2022, 2023, we might be getting one in probably DC or something like that. Hopefully not New York.
DC might also be rough.
Right. Well, now. I assume in 2 to 3 years we will be out and about like normal once again.
I mean, sure.
Unless we get SARS-CoV-20.
I'll just move to Texas. Anyway.
All right. But yeah, so like I said,
jokes
Los
aside,
Angeles.
Silly choice of where to go aside. It's cool to see they're doing these more flagship stores.
Yeah. Like I said, I forget. They don't have the do they or do they not have Forge World models?
Forge World. The store stocks a variety of popular Forge World models and can order you any Forge World kits to the store with free shipping. So they'll have some limited stocks. So probably like the Knights, like maybe not. They won't have everything, but they'll
if they had Iron Hill Dwarves, oof.
That'd be good. I am kind of bummed.
Be dangerous, man.
Early in the year, I went down to see the Warhammer Citadel. I didn't go down there for that. I was down there for work, and it was close enough drive. Even though it was kind of sectioned off because they're keeping things limited, still really cool store. Really, these are the types of stores all Warhammer stores should be. A couple people working, not necessarily the cafe. A couple people working, a section of books, plenty of hobby, to purchase of all different types. A couple places to game. That's what these stores should be. That's how you get people in. Like these one-man stores. You got me who loves Warhammer, and I'm not driving an hour on my way to that store because it's worse than the one I can go to. 3 I can go to within 10 minutes of my house.
I love my Warhammer store with all of my being. So whenever things get back to normal, I do want to start planning a trip out to the one in Texas because I've never been to Texas. Mm-hmm. It's one of the few states. B, I want to go to a state fair in Texas where they. Yeah.
You want to eat barbecue in Texas?
Yeah.
The other thing I can say is Grapevine, where it's located, because I spent an evening just walking around there. There is it's not a tourist trap, but it's perfect for tourists that want to go. There's plenty of places to eat, plenty of different cultures of there was an Irish pub where people were smoking cigars inside. There was like a standard barbecue place. There was a more family, wholesome like diner type place. There was amazing beer garden, local brewery called Hop and Sting. So if you're down there, it's a little bit off the main road. Fantastic. Go check it out. And the first beer you buy each day is half off. And then there's always a beer, I think, each week, maybe it's month, I forget what it is, where if you buy it, it costs an extra $1, but they take that $1 plus another, I think it's another $1. They take a couple bucks out of it and put it all towards a charity. Just like
they charge an extra $1 and then another $1. No, and you just pay that much more.
they charge an extra $1, so you're technically doing a $1 donation for charity, but they also take a $1 out of their pay for that beer to it's I don't know how it works, but it's neat.
Okay. All right. So moving along here, we have the 3 new Warhammer boxed games arriving sometime this year.
Yeah.
First started up with Bladeborn, which I guess this is like a simplified Warcry.
Yeah, it's got hexes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's like
I dig it. I dig
Yeah,
it.
I'm willing to see what it is. I mean, it's. I mean, those are blatantly Warcry cards on there.
Well, here's
So if it's
well, it's Warcry, the one half. It's the I forget what they're called, the more bestial type ones. But then on the other half, it's the Underworlds warband, the Slaves of Darkness.
well, there's still the Warcry cards down there.
Oh, there is, but I think that's also the only place you can get the Warcry cards for these new Underworlds
Huh.
warband. But
Yeah,
still,
I'm definitely looking forward to see what they say about it.
I mean, if it's cheap enough, it's worth it just for those models to add to the Slaves of Darkness Fight Club mix.
Yeah. All right, then they're coming up with Space Marine Adventures Doomsday Countdown. Um, it honestly, it looks like if you don't have enough time or space to play an actual 40K game, this looks. I mean,
Well,
I got the what was it? I got one of these games because it was like on clearance.
did you get the Jungle one,
Uh,
where like you're playing the?
no, it was the Space Marine. I can't read it from here, but you're fighting the Necron.
Okay.
It's a simple, easy game.
It's like I don't see this as like for me and you, Matt. This one we're probably not gonna go out and get. Like I said, if it's on clearance, maybe. But
Yeah.
this is perfect if like, you have a niece or nephew or your young kids or someone and just be like, hey, you want to just and you get them used to the models and the concept of putting the models together and playing a game with them.
Well, I was
That's
even
what this
saying
is
like
perfect for, like, because this isn't
I
like a
was
good
even
collection of models. Like we're not
I
gonna buy it
look
for
at
that.
it. I look at it and I see this small area and I think about what happens after a full day at Nova. You went your 3 rounds, you went out to dinner, you came back, and everyone's just sitting around BSing around some tables. Throw this down, throw some dice,
Well,
easy peasy.
Nova's the bad example because they're all upstairs drinking.
Nova's the best
Because
example.
they're all upstairs drinking. They're not.
Well, not every. Well, again, when we've had more time
That's
sitting
true.
around BSing, yeah.
That's because you're keeping me calm from running the event. Because you're a good friend. Just
Um,
even knowing that I'm gonna be on your show, even though it's on my channel, and I'm just gonna ruin it by being snarky about Los Angeles.
all right, moving along here. Next, hey, big news for all 40K players. The Drukari,
Ooh,
the Dark Eldar.
wait, I don't have that one. I have the Savage Auric Warband for Direchasm.
Yeah, and there's a little note right between that link that says "Don't use this one."
I didn't read that.
Yeah, we didn't read
I
it.
didn't read that.
Well, a little too much drinky, huh?
No, too much worky. This is only one beer. It's not gonna get me. So we got.
No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
I'll find the Drukari thing live. You keep talking about it.
It should be next. Well, it's a big reveal.
Oh, hey, yeah, there it is. Okay, boom,
Up
found it.
there you go. All right. So you see that big news?
Snatch a
New
sneak peek
box. New box.
of old models.
Oh yeah, new box. All right, moving along.
Wait, didn't you see they have
New box. Moving along.
they
Meta Watch.
okay, MetaWatch.
This one, of course, we always pull in the Meta Watches, especially for Age of Sigmar. But this one is the best one of all because it's how to achieve tournament glory without winning a single game. This is perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that they want you to paint. I'm like, damn it.
See, I don't know. I really enjoyed this one because one, there's more to this hobby than just being competitive, and you can be okay. Scratch it. There's more to this hobby than just being competitive with gaming with lists. There's a competition for the painting for sure. Like that's a meta in and of itself. And I got to meet Matt Lyons here at Realms at War. Went over a couple years ago. Hell of a gentleman, hell of a painter.
Yeah, man. The again, just from running things at Nova for those couple of years, and even the time we went beforehand. I mean, I still remember the gentleman who asked us to wait because his dry ice hadn't come in yet for his board.
Yep, I remember that was such a great board.
Yeah, again, he's the creativity is it's. I wish I had it. I wish I did. I honestly, I can, if I see it, I can go, yes, that's a good idea, or no, that's not a good idea, or ooh, if you only did this, it'd make it better.
Mm-hmm.
But the ground floor, no man, I got to get it on like the second or third.
Yeah, that's where Matt gets off, because it's where the elevator stops.
Yeah, and then it continues with
JP Gannis. And if you don't follow him on Twitter, definitely do so. He does the list spot stuff, but also he talks, I think, here about the Warhammer achievements, which is a fantastic system that, Matt, I think would be right up your alley if you ever wanted to like fully run your own event.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and it definitely looks like a lot of fun. I said, who knows? We'll see. We'll see what the future. We're not going to roll it out. How about that?
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
All right. So now on to probably the biggest news article that we'll have for this month. We can't spend as much time as I would like because we'd have a 4-hour episode, and I don't want to do that.
We'll get there on the review when it all comes out.
Yeah. So real quick, just to kind of go over things here. So we'll start off here with the Lumineth. I was whenever I saw the silhouettes of the sword masters here, I was a little worried with the helmets, but seeing how they came out, they're not bad at all.
Listen, I mean, people complain about the helmets for Lumineth, and sure, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Thankfully, it is the easiest thing to ever switch on any model ever.
Yeah. Again, so even if you saw these and you saw the silhouette and you were nervous and you were like, oh, I don't know about that, and you saw them and you're like, I don't really like that. These, you have two easy things. One, head swap. Two, just clip the bits off.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally at the base, it's a helmet with a plume. If you don't like a helmet with a plume, I can't help you.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can do for you.
I love these. Swordmasters were my favorite unit back in 8th edition for the High Elves, because that was my army back then. So definitely gonna add a unit or two of these to my Lumineth force. One, because I want to do one with dual wielding and one with the two hands. So it's just so cool.
I can't imagine what these. Oh, they're the Blade Lords. I thought I heard that somewhere, but I wasn't sure if that was official or not. Yeah, so Blade Lords. Okay, so someone has a thesaurus.
Yeah, well, it's High Elf. So what you do is you think of the most common explanation of what they are, and then make it pompous. They're not blade guys and girls.
No, we are no longer sword masters. We are now the martial artists known as Blade Lords.
We have not mastered the sword. We are the masters of the sword. Like, okay, sure.
We are now the Lord of the Blades. That's I honestly can't. The problem is, I try and think about what rules they could possibly have, and I can't find the middle. Like, everything I come up with is either like too light. I'm like, well, then what would be the point of bringing them? Or too hard, and then I go, then why would you use anything else? So I won't even speculate because I can't wait to see what they actually do.
Well, hopefully, it's looking like from what everything's kind of like hinting at from what we've seen. Like, hopefully, we'll see the Broken Realms book at least drop in March, and these shortly after.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Like I said, my army is so slow going, and so they can take all the time in the world they want. I know other people are chomping at the bit, but the last thing I need is another army within my same army that I need to paint.
Yeah, I understand.
This bolt thrower, I think we saw a preview of the bolt thrower in the video. I think, pretty sure.
I don't remember.
Yeah, regardless. I'm actually really excited to see what this thing can do. I mean, hopefully the points are right there. Like, if you can get this thing like just under 100 points to fill in some of those gaps, you could. I mean, I could see really putting this on the table.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I ran 3 and 4 back in my old High Elf lists. It'd feel natural to put 3 or 4 in here too.
I mean, because the way I see it is, I forget exactly how much the Sentinels are, but they're either 140 or 160 for 10. So if you have this, you either have to be able to do what the Sentinels can do or better if you're going to put them at above 100, or you're just going to go with more models so it stays on the table longer. So
Right.
we'll see.
Yep.
Again, no matter what, I'm getting one. So and then
It's something every Lumina player is going to get, and everyone that has a table at home, because this is
yeah,
cool.
yeah, this is the terrain piece. I couldn't imagine anything better. I love the floating. I mean, my only concern is if you tap it the wrong way, does it fall off? Oh, and my other concern is I spent all that money trying to get those Magna racks because they had the special foam for techless, and so I went all that route. Now I have to figure out how to transport this thing.
You just put this thing in your hand and walk around with it. You let everyone
I mean,
know
honestly,
you're a Lumina player.
It looks like it's almost as big as a baby, so I might just get a one of those Bjorns for it, and just strap it to my chest.
I bet you could this archway here. I bet you could leave that off. Just looking at it.
Oh, probably.
I mean, I can't say for certain, but like, yeah, if you could leave that off, then it's gonna be easier to store. So
one of the things I'm thinking about doing with this is I'm actually thinking about getting multiple. So I'll get one and paint it up to match my army exactly. So that's the terrain piece. And then, like, if I get one or two more, like, either leave the top off and then I have two pieces of terrain, or see what my options are whenever the kit comes out.
Well, I mean, listen, I have a Daughter's Cane table. You need a Lumineth table at your house. So
yeah.
we each have home field advantage when we travel. So
it's definitely super high priority. All right, so then we have, yeah,
love it.
I forget. Did they say this was? They say this was built for Severeth. Oh no, so Severeth was. No, I'm so confused.
So yeah,
that's
Severeth, that was the fox spirit.
That's the fox side. Well, regardless, so this guy, holy cow, I love this sculpt so much. I hope that his rules are good enough that I can put him on the table with no concerns and just be like, that's who he is.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. And he's one of those models too you're gonna lavish on. Like, you think you're taking your time with your models now, like, he's gonna take you a month, Matt.
Oh, I'm sure. All right, so going over to the twins,
which actually are my favorite. Maybe it's because I do like the Iliatha, which is the clone twin theme. Or maybe it's because these guys are these guy and girl are kind of a reference to Altharion's niece and nephew from the End Times. Like, they're not them, but they're like a cool throwback. I just like them. I like how she's kind of like air dancing across him. Like, I don't think it looks silly. The only thing I don't like, I don't even mind her headdress. I just wish she was wearing more robes.
Yeah,
or even a cloak.
That's one of the things.
I might put a cloak on her. That's
honestly, I think it's a cool idea, and I'm sure the rules are going to be there to meet it. But and again, I'm the only person I've heard say this, but I think she, not her pose, but like the way her dress and her head and her helmet, complete miss. No, I get that they're going with the.
You're not the only one that said that. I think there's a lot of people like. To me, the one thing she's missing is either a robe or a nice cloak.
Yeah, well, I figure what I could do is I could just paint her up like she's from Running Man, and there we go. Because like it looks like for the guy it looks like the sun is almost on the back.
Yeah.
Because if that's his headpiece.
No, he's got a top knot in front, so that's kind of like a back banner type thing, which fits the Swordmaster look from before.
So if she just had robes and that was a back banner of the moon, done, awesome, perfect. But like I said, it's not the end of the world. I might do a head swap. I might actually see. You know what head I was thinking about? I want to know what it looks like on there.
Which elf head?
No, Alariel.
They're slightly bigger, but maybe. I don't know the scale of these two. These might be slightly bigger.
I'll file it down.
That's true.
Or worst case scenario, what I'll do is I'll put them back to back, so it takes away from the head.
That's true. Like I said, I definitely want to put a cloak on her. The headpiece doesn't bother me too much, but like now that I see it compared, like you just pointed out, like the back banner versus the headpiece, like maybe I can offset that her crown back a little bit. We'll see. Like I said, I at the very least, I'm getting a cloak on that girl. She needs something.
So this next model, I don't know how useful it's going to be, and this helmet is definitely going to need this side stuff clipped.
What? The guy with the staff and the sword in the arm?
Yeah.
You don't like the flowy one?
I don't necessarily know if I like the juxtaposition of the little sun and the little moon icon. I get that that's the balance of the army, but at the same time, maybe not for your helmet. But
love them.
I don't know what they're going to make. I don't know what they would do to his rules to make him so good to the point where I would want to take a hero on foot that goes off on his own.
He'd have to. I mean, looking at him, you're thinking he's going to support the sword masters.
But then he also has his staff. He also has that magic staff.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
So
yeah. So he's either going to be big support for the units that are coming out, or he's got to be like a lone assassin type deal. You know.
Either way, I'm still getting at least one.
Oh yeah.
And also, he's probably my favorite lore-wise. I forget if he's no, he can't be in there because I was talking about the thing about Soulbound. If we ever do like another Soulbound game, I'm definitely going to make one of these guys, whether the rules are there or not.
We can figure out the rules for sure.
Yeah.
What I like about him just in general is he just looks like the conversions I've made for my Cathalars, because I didn't really like the Cathalar model too much. It's just the standard armor, some cool weapon and some arms, and then a pair of legs you found. Like, yeah. And this guy's gonna be so like I can see him being in every elf army of every type, as a conversion.
Yeah, that's true as well.
He's gonna be one of those models, kind of like the current Darkling Coven's the Dark Elf Sorceress, I guess you can call it. Like you just buy her to convert to something, you know. That's what I do. Anyway.
All right, on to the next guy here. This guy's super cool.
He's very AOSified. That's what I like about him.
Yes.
Like nothing about the model like is like super like, oh, I want him, but I'm like I want to see him on the table. I like this.
Yeah, and what's funny is like I think he has one of the most overdone helmets, but I think it fits him perfectly.
Well, you don't notice the helmet because you immediately go to the shoes.
Right. I mean, he has, and the shoes are so interesting. Like, what's interesting is I'm pretty sure there are actual some sort of, I forget which.
There's a Japanese but, it's a Japanese type of shoe that's like that, and I remember that because of which fighting game.
Oh yeah,
there's a fighting game that someone walks on those.
It might be King of Fighters.
I think it's King of Fighters, yeah.
Neither here nor there. All I know is the whatever he's doing here with this wand or brush into that paper, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, that's gonna suck. He's writing a letter to Lotan, being like, "Dear friend, how is the octopus? I'm using magic. Ha 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 ha.
Please send me my octopus back. I'm lonely."
It's great.
All right, so on to Mr. Cloudman.
Yeah.
So I have to say, whenever they showed the video at the turn of the new year, and they just showed the cloud, I was like, oh no, what sort of Goku dumb crap are we getting? And I honestly think this is a really cool model. I think it's super cool.
I really like him. I love the helmet. I'm not the biggest fan of the paint job on the face, since they did like really bright chin. Because like I can see it. They're trying to make him look like a baboon monkey type face, which I get.
Well, he's getting regular flesh.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
The one criticism that I've heard from multiple people is, why not just have that attached from from the tree that you put in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vince called it out on his show when they talked about this, their reveal show.
Yeah.
Turn that tree backwards and glue that cloud to that base. Flying stands are terrible. Stop.
Oh, they're the worst.
They stop.
They're the worst.
Stop making them. If you want to use flying stands, there's a great company, the Magnet Baron, I think is his name. He does good ones that won't break and are also magnetized.
Well, I gotta look that up. All right, on to another super interesting model.
I'm so happy for this.
I was so shocked to see this. Now, is there another army that has a standalone like bannerman?
I can't recall it, but like I said, I'm also like elf blind. I only see elves.
Yeah.
But just,
again,
just in general, this they had a battle standard bearer in old fantasy, and high elves had Banner of the World Dragon, which was the best one. So literally every high elf army you played had a huge banner in it, just to get that item. So like, they're just hitting all the right notes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if here's the issue is, so like I've looked at the techless army, with techless wardens, sentinels, and maybe a dawn rider, and I look at that and I'm like, I have no points to work with. So I see all this stuff and like I'm still in that mindset. So every time I see a model, I'm like, that's great, but where am I getting the points?
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish that.
I was saying, and I realize that it probably means that techless is going to stay at home a little more often now, but I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, no, I'm with you too. I think now that there's more of a rounded force, that you're going to be able to go, okay, I don't need techless. Like right now, I run the list you just kind of mentioned. I have a couple sentinels, a couple wardens, dawn riders, Eltharion, techless.
Yeah,
that list won't work without techless. But I think now with all this, you're probably going to be able to make lists without techless much more easy. I know you can still do it right now, for sure.
Yeah,
but like.
Well, like I said, one of the issues so whenever we played our game where you let me use just my bases, one of the things is those wardens needed every ounce that techless gave them in order to stay on the table.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they look like without the buffs.
I mean, we'll see what the rules come from these guys. Maybe there's a mini version that you can buff one at a time. I will call out, I think Martin Orlando found this. If you look at this guy right here, if you see the two little side banners,
yes.
See on the one, I think it's the one on the right, is Selenar, and it's Techless's side. So, because you see the moon, like you see like the split down the middle on the right side, there's the moon, and on that little side banner, that's a little like Selenar depiction. And on the left side is the sun, which is Tyrion. And you look on the left side, there's like a phoenix dragon thing. So will that be the mount Tyrion gets? I don't know, but they're giving us more and more hints. It's fun. I
like it, and I also dislike it because I don't think we're seeing Tyrion anytime soon. I think it's going to be years.
We have lots of elves. Let's all be very thankful.
Right. And so I'm like, listen, I've never been like the caster person. I've always like D&D and everything. I always go for the martial guy. So like, Tyrion's the one I want.
Yeah.
So it's like, stop teasing me. I know you're not giving me anything anytime soon.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll have 6 Lumineth armies by then. So
hey, and I'll have my 6 Daughters Cain armies, and we'll both start a Tyrion army. All right, we'll be fine.
And then of course we get the generic Fox Boy.
Yeah, as expected, because we got that with the Mountain Cows.
Yep. I gotta, the one thing I wasn't really thinking about it until I heard Vince talk about not having all of this the whirlwindy stuff, and I'm like, oh, could you imagine? That might look really good just jumping off of like a stone or something.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see, man. Because like, again, I did the Celestin Prime, and I really like the way that it turned out. I really like the way it looks. Now, if it was only any good, but part of me doesn't really want to do that again, and the other part of me also thinks that it might actually just look better to have it bouncing off a rock or something.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Just have some fun with it. Be a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, buy one of those extra Lumineth terrain pieces and just make it a ruin, because that's what Selinar's on. He's on the roof of one of those. So
you're absolutely right. All right, and then of course they announced.
Wait.
Oh, what?
Put him on the back of one of the mountain cows. If they're the same size base, then you can just choose what to run it as every list. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sure my opponent would love that. All right. So they announced. Yeah, they announced they're getting another battle tome. I was absolutely shocked by it, but
as someone who isn't like super avid and didn't I have a Lumineth army. This was not expected, considering all the rules will be in Broken Realms in the first Lumineth, but also at the same time, as someone who just hates carrying around multiple books, and granted, 2 is not a lot. I've tried to play 40k games, and it's like, oh no, this is terrible. 2's not a lot, but I still appreciate them putting it back together.
In all honesty, I'm absolutely going to pick this up. I'm so happy I have the option.
Yeah, I'm glad there's an option. I'm glad it's also not needed, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I see they split up this army release based upon the story for Broken Realms and all that, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, okay, you did that, sure. Don't do that again, because that's there's a little bit of a feel of a maybe a little bait and switch, I guess. Because there's probably people that bought, like, I mean, Matt, you bought heavily into Lumineth. I know you're not super upset about it, but could be people out there that
I couldn't care less.
Yeah, but some people out there might have blown their whole hobby budget on this army. Like, this is my army, this is what I'm going to do, and now they're just like, what if I need these things? And it's like, I get that, and it's like I feel for that, but like, yeah, it's like, I don't mind it this once, but if they start doing this more and more often, it's gonna be like, all right.
Yeah, I think that is true. Like, if they start doing this with every army, it's a real problem. But
okay, that's fine. I'm like, I'll be like, sure, whatever. Please don't do that again. If it happens more and more regularly, it's gonna be like, I might start complaining.
Now, like, the one thing I do have to say though is, like, I think about, I can't help but think about, whenever KO came out, and spoilers. We'll be talking about them more in a couple minutes.
Matt will be trying to derail the conversation.
To me, and again, we'll get into this further, it still feels like an incomplete army to me. And so I would have loved for them to go, hey, you remember how we released these KO 6 months ago? Well, here's 110% more KO.
Well, I think it's kind of the issue. Same thing with Fire Slayers. Like, the early armies of AOS maybe weren't as fully fleshed out as we would have liked. That's a lesson learned, though, going through this with this new type of game. I mean, it's not rank and flank, so there's going to be new lessons to be learned for sure. So, because I look at, like, other brand new armies, it's like, okay, no, like, you have everything you need.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Moving along. We got a Night Haunt hero.
Yeah, cool model.
Super cool model. Can't wait to see what its rules are. Ben?
I'd say it's Night Haunt. I forget about it pretty quickly. I forgot about it until I just scrolled it. But this boy I'm excited for.
I like his helm, like the little Terminator style little dome thing he's got going on. Yeah. Again,
I want to fix the cloak. That's the only thing. I get the action superhero landing, but, like,
what do you want to fix with the cloak?
I just want them to be down like a normal cloak. I don't want them up in the air like he's just
That would be nice if they had. That's the problem, is it's going to be like this, but it would be cool if they had, like, a draped version.
Right. But the way to fix this that I'm going to do, because I've done it with other models, it's super not fun because you could accidentally ruin a model very quickly, is you get a candle and you hold that piece above the candle, pre-painted obviously, and you kind of, like, move it back and forth, not in the flame, well above the flame, to heat it up, and it'll slowly give way and allow you to coax it down into a different position. That type of bit you can do it with. You can't do it with everything, but I want him because Age of Sigmar came out. I played Stormcast because it's kind of the only thing that really had a semblance of rules that weren't really off base, and I was happy. I liked them. I made my own chamber, now called the Science of Strength. They're red and white, as you can see probably from the logo. But that's because there was no real true fleshed out chambers other than the Golden Boys, which they didn't really appeal to me. But then we got deeper into the Realmgate Wars, and we saw Guard of Steel Soul, the Hallowed Knights, and we got our games chant, Only the Faithful. So I want him badly, and I want to paint him as Hallowed Knight. I want to repaint my entire Stormcast as Hallowed Knights. I won't, because that's a lot. I have a lot of Stormcast, but I will pick him up. I will paint him in my army's color, and because I always run the Hallowed Knight rules. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's so like me. I did Knights of the Aurora from the second edition.
Yeah, you had it worse. You had it worse. At least my excuse was they just didn't have it fleshed out. So like I was willy nilly. I treated
Yeah, and then the third book came out, and then they changed the scheme. So now I have my own unique army color. Yay! All right, and then we got a new skeleton hero. That was kind of cool.
This death stuff is just like baller.
It's so funny. I am of two separate minds on this because
I don't care about death. I want to say that I don't care about death. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's really well done, and this is definitely what I think a lot of death players have been waiting for.
It's Bloodborne meets Dark Souls.
Yeah,
in an army, and I can't say if I'll pick up a new death army or not with all these like new cool vampires and stuff coming out, but it's a little bit more tempting, and I can't wait to see like especially the high level painters pick this up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm of two minds. Mind one is, come on, rip off the Band-Aid. Let me just see what you got, and mind A is just wait until you're ready to release it. We don't need to see anything until it's around the corner.
I'm not sure if you have it in our list here to look at, but there was a recent article about, hey, we have stuff to release, but we don't know when. We're going to tell you about it, even though we can't sell it to you because we don't know. Like, it's like, just take your time, guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was shocked that we got to see the next Broken Realms teaser. And the second book's not even out yet, so it's like
spoilers for next month's episode.
Sorry.
All right, so moving along here, we have the Bone Splitter Warband.
Yep.
Like I said, in all honesty, the models are all great, except for the one holding the club. I feel like that tabard is a little not tabard, but
loin.
Yeah, extended loincloth. That doesn't necessarily do it for me, but again, that's just me. Like I said, out of all the warbands, this one probably resonates the least with me, but I still recognize how good the models are.
They've released a Daughters of Cain warband for this game, so the rest are just dead to me. I'll probably get the Lumineth when they release it separately.
Then they announced the Warhammer Underworlds 2-player starter set.
Yep.
Looks like they're going to do what they did with the last one, where they're just going to kind of take models that already exist and make a warband around it. So I'll probably get that, even though I don't need it. And then the other super big announcement, the full reveal of Curse City.
Holy crap, was that a full reveal?
My God. Just release it already. I don't want to wait.
See, and here's where we're at too. Like, because I think both of you were just like, we're both gonna get this. It's gonna be so amazing, and that was kind of like, I had a moment of I can't come to Jesus moment. I was like, you know what? If I bought it and you bought it, one of us would just leave it somewhere. Like, we would never open it. So Matt, you're going to buy it, and I'm gonna help you paint it.
Cool.
That's what we're gonna do, because I'm gonna use it just as much as you, most likely, whenever, because I'm only gonna play you, because around here it's like that's who we'll play with, maybe get one or two other people nearby, like Alex or Cole or somebody.
So let me ask, out of the heroes, who's your favorite hero?
You'd think I would say the elf. I'm gonna go down to them right now. So let's get to them. You think
Well,
I'd
if you
say
don't say the elf, you're betraying your people.
well, she's a Carnothy. I love her. I absolutely love her. But I'm most interested. Oh, sorry, there's. I'm most interested to see about this like Sigmarite priest mage thing.
That is a very unique model to
Like,
just.
yeah, I just want to be like, I want to know more about her. So like, I know what that elf's about fully. I get her.
Yeah.
We're in sync. But this
And
lady, what's
while
going on?
you're bringing up the elf lady, GW, Kurnothi time.
Oh, please do.
Come on.
Please. I want it.
I need my centaur satyr elves. All right.
I need true elves in my Sylvaneth because I know it's an elf army. Stop teasing.
Do you want to take two guesses at who my favorite is?
I'm gonna say you like one, the KO dwarf with the scale on his back.
Yeah. Well, so here's the problem: is they're all tens.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna say he appeals to you, and I'm gonna say obviously the witch hunter.
Yeah, witch hunter man. That
Yeah.
I love the story. I love the lore that there was like the other witch hunters were like, dude, you need to like calm it a little bit. You're a little strong here.
And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go even harder.
Fine, I'm gonna start my own witch hunter army, and we're just gonna eat nails all day.
And we're gonna have elves and dwarves and ogres.
So what about out of the villains?
Do
Do you have a favorite of the new villain kits?
Are they down below? Nope, same thing. Okay. Sorry, that's the
Is
rats.
it the bats? It's the bats, right?
No, actually, like I like these zombies with the gravestones on their back.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I like it, especially like the one they keep showing. It's in center screen here. It's the and I know it's not, but like I see it. It's the one she's like green, but she has long blonde hair. But that's like kind of like the same style that Teyrathi wears her hair. I'm like, it's Teyrathi's long lost like human cousin.
Yeah, I honestly think these are really cool. Again, honestly, the Gravedigger is my favorite.
Yeah, well, I think they said with these zombies too, it's not them as true zombies; it's the roots growing through them is what's animating them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, so then the next thing is just the bigger guys. Yeah, man, that Gravedigger, he
is Bloodborne.
That is Bloodborne meets Pan's Labyrinth.
Like whoever was sculpting at the time, like was getting Kingdom Death models and saying, "What would this look like without any dicks on it?" And they did it, and I love it.
Which I'm sure we can get someone to sculpt them back on. That's not a problem.
I'm sure, yeah. I do like the one with like the animalistic feet and the sword hanging off the pillar here.
Yeah,
just a good action pose.
Yeah, I think they're exactly. I think they're really cool looking. It's a very interesting take. It makes me wonder where they're going with vampires. Like now we've seen regular. We've had the leak with bat hair as a tried and true vampire.
Yep.
And then we have
the Underworlds Warband.
The Underworlds Warband that's coming out,
which fits more in line with what this Cursed City is.
Yeah, and then we also have like Dalgi feet.
Dalgi feet.
So I don't know where they're going with it, man. I'm trying to keep my mind as open as possible and accept whatever they release.
If they kind of go off all the themes we keep seeing mixed amongst all of this stuff right here, it's going to be a big book.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like I'm like, I don't know. We're gonna have another Stormcast army on our hands here.
Now, here's one thing I am curious about. Usually, when you see like, I moved down to the book. Usually, when you see a book with like a release, it's just hype for the book. Like Matt, I think you picked up the Lumineth book. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's it's just Lumineth being cool. I have the Daughters of Cain one, which is a slightly more interesting because it's 3 short stories that they wrote a preface and like a before chapter and after chapter, kind of tying it all together, which kind of makes it unique. But this Cursed City is like, I hope this is a lot more like the horror we saw, because I read The Dark Harvest. It was a fantastic book.
Nice.
So I'm hoping this is in the same vein as that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see what they're going to do to add another hero. I'm interested to see. I'm also interested to see, what kind of expansions we have. I wonder if they'll eventually do a thing like they did for Silver Tower and release an app where you can just bring any foot hero.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot like Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah, I do too.
So
I do too.
I'm for it. And then, finishing this off, Broken Realms 3.
Yeah. I I do like the announcement of book 3 before we get a release of book 2.
Even a release date of book 2. We don't know. Like, we think it's this month, but
yeah, we live in strange times. That's
yeah. Please look forward to it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really, that puts some interesting implications to where the story's going. And it's interesting because it almost seems like there's some hard shifting between each book. So I'm wondering if, since they're all such hard shifts, because again, we'll have to see. Whenever the second comes out, we'll see what kind of connection there is. But
I'm thinking there's not going to be much connection, because I just picked, even though my limited edition Daughters Kane book isn't here, I do have a regular edition. And they cover Sigmar's response to Marathi sacking the city in that book. And if if no one's read it, it's essentially, obviously Von Brecht gets out. He tells Sigmar, or some of the agents do. Stormcast start attacking Anvigard, and they're doing a really good job until Marathi sends out the Shadow Queen. It just wrecks them. And then Selson Prime drops and says, hey, I'm here to speak with Marathi. There's a ceasefire now. And him and Marathi go into like some room they talk to for a day, and Marathi gets to keep the city for some promise that no one knows what it is. So it's like, yeah, okay, problem solved.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm wondering if each chapter, you're not a comic book fan, are you, or have you been?
On and off.
All right. Well, so I was really big in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, and so one of my favorite was the Age of Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did for Age of Apocalypse was they had a mirror of each of the regular mutant comics, or something similar, and each one was a completely unrelated story, but every character had a goal, and then the goal came in, and they all merged at the end. Mm-hmm. So
maybe
I don't know if they would do that. I don't.
I mean, they did something similar with End Time, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right. So moving along, we have our Middle Earth strategy battle game article for the month, where they introduced the Dragon Cult Acolytes. Surprise, surprise, from the Easterlings. Again, man, any love this game gets, I'm all for it, whether it's a model that I'm going to use or not. I think these guys are great.
Well, I'm excited because I just picked up the rest of my Rivendell army that I needed recently, so they're getting
that's awesome.
Yeah, the all the named heroes that were up for made to order. So
yeah. Like I said, these guys look really cool. Like, because I don't have an evil army, I only have good armies.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could do Easterlings. I could do that.
You could, but
all right. But again, if you haven't played it, play it. Do it. Moving right along here to relive the fall of Anvilgard in this free Warcry campaign. Like we said several times before, this is what I want to see from these community articles. Like,
give me some scenarios. It's always fun. It's always appreciated.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it's super cool. It's it's not necessarily super sustainable for the long run. It's why I don't expect it every week. I don't expect it every day. But maybe once a month, once every other month, just do a little something.
Mm-hmm.
I just, as much as we can get of this,
it's full of ideas. The make little war bands to eventually create your own army too. So, but yeah,
Yep.
I like free stuff like that.
All right, and then the last article we have for the month. Warhammer 40k is coming to Magic the Gathering. Yes, really.
Sure.
I'm super interested to see where it goes. I mean,
I'm as a very loose Magic the Gathering player, as in like I played it a lot when I was younger. I still have like some fun decks and my old cards. I'm not super. I'll pick some up, but I'm not like, oh, I need to go get a Stormcast or Space Marine deck. But what makes me really excited is ever since I started doing like all the community stuff and like everything on that and front of my hobby, I guess the end goal was for Warhammer in general to be kind of like what D&D is now. Like not everyone plays it, but you go, oh, I'm going to go play D&D. Oh, I know what that is. I want Warhammer to be the same thing. That's always been like my goal in like helping push the community forward in any way I can, which is like insignificant in the long run, but like, Starship Troopers, I'm doing my part. And I think this is just a huge leap and bound for that.
Well, I mean, first off, I get it. 40k is the big boy, but I mean, you're going with the fantasy setting, and you're going to pull in the Space Boys. I was like, now's the time. This is where the Stormcast get in, but that's fine. I'm sure they'll have their day eventually in the sun with something. But I said, personally, as someone that enjoys Magic but isn't really into it,
I mean, you and I will definitely go pick up like the starter for this, and we'll each make a deck and we'll play each other for fun. That's happening. Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Yeah. I hope that it's its own side thing, and it's not part of like a block. I think that'd be kind of weird to all of a sudden be able to play.
At best, it's its own set, but we'll see.
Here's my intercessor for 18 months for people who pull their hair out. Fine, my vampire's dead. I get it.
I look forward to the arguments where people are just like, this is a blood angel. This is Mephiston of the Blood Angels. Why is he being summoned, and why do I have to tap a white plains to summon my red blood angel? He should be using mountains. I'm looking forward to that argument, so I can just look at that person and go, like, you have a sad life.
All right. Well, now that the news is over, time to cleanse the palate with our rumor engines.
Ooh.
All right. So first up, we have the one from February 2nd. So I only see one thing when I see this one.
You see the Thor? Because that's what I see.
Besides that.
You see.
Well, so I just painted all those Mega Gargants.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff they do with their armor. Like the Chaos one is literally just, I found large flat surfaces, so I riveted them together. But it's so weird because, again, like, I can't imagine them bringing out more Mega Gargant stuff already. So I said it looks Mega Gargant to me, and I don't know what else it could be. I think it's something else, but
it's going to be the return of the squat army in 40k, and this is like on the side of one of their tanks. That's what I'm going with.
That makes sense. All right. Then we got the 9th. I mean, it's a death thing.
It's got to be part of the new vampire stuff. like sure.
It's a death thing. There we go. Because you have the rivets in there. That's the rivets are
or
totally
this was a really fancy outdoor shower because you see the curtain down there, and it was just a horrible accident.
I wonder if it's like the mast of a ship and there's a flag for some reason or a sail. All right, the 16th. This is gonna be the start of the new Vulture army.
Yeah, Aether Wings are so popular. They're like, what if we just make them vultures and that's the army?
Chaos. These are Chaos Aether Wings. That's
exactly done and done.
Now I do have to say I feel like this is. And I haven't heard this guess anywhere, so I'm wondering what I'm missing. I'm wondering why I'm wrong. The only army that I know of that digs deep with the Vulture stuff is
Ogres?
BCR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but
mean those ogres.
there's no eyes on this one, so it's like maybe it's some Zinch thing.
Well, so here's what I'm thinking, and this is going to be a future show. This might be Old World.
They don't have
Old
models
World,
yet.
if Old World is smaller scale, because this might just be teeny tiny.
Maybe. I don't think they have models for it yet, but
they're ready. They got them in the back. All right, I'm telling you right now.
It's called
if
8th
you
edition.
Go,
They just got the 8th edition models. And they made one new model for each army, and they're reselling it. Go.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yep,
All right. So for Rumor Engine from the 23rd,
Chaos Horse.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm seeing, man. I wonder if now that we know that because this came out before the Be'lakor news. That's the name, Be'lakor.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I got it right. I mean, I'm wondering if that means that Bellacor's coming with some more models than just himself. So we'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
All right, so that brings us on to the main talking point for the night. KO.
Oh, okay.
And see, look, I'm wearing it.
We're wearing your KO shirt.
So, what's that?
Wearing your KO shirt.
Yep. So, just do a little bit of background. I know if anyone that's watched the channel regularly, they already know all this stuff here, but you know, all I was waiting for was new Dispossessed. You know, the Fire Slayers I think are cool. I have a Fire Slayer army, and it's almost what I want, but it's not. It's so removed from what Dispossessed are that it doesn't scratch that itch. And so whenever we had the original rumors of the Steamhead, what was it? Was it Steamhead Duarden?
Yeah, I think that's what people were calling it.
Yeah, I don't even remember where that name came from, but it was everywhere. And just the thought of these steampunk dwarves was like the perfect evolution into AOS. Whenever I saw KO, I was like, okay, they look really cool. They look really cool. I like them. And then it was like the lore kept coming out, and I was like, okay, all right, stick with it, push through, and to preface.
Meanwhile, while you're sitting around watching me run around as like my new K-Knight love and going, yay, I have the best thing ever, and you're just like, I'm happy for you, Chuck. I really am.
And it was like, I hate to, because like again, whenever the Dispossessed that I love were I loved the models, I loved the intent of the rules is a good way to put it, and I love the lore, I love the narrative, I loved all of it. And so one of the things I hated about Fire Slayers, they're mercenaries. I'm like, that's not what a Dispossessed is. That's not what a Duarden would do. It's not who they are. Right. And so whenever I saw the KO, I was like, okay, well, that's fine. And then they're like, oh, but they're also mercenaries. I'm like, can we stop with everyone that's short with a beard doing anything for money? I don't need my Dispossessed to be flipping tricks out behind the tavern for some sort of gold. So we already have Gold. Now we have Aether Gold. So I guess there's going to be
gold.
I don't know. Gold. Yeah. So I've been kind of, and let me before I get into any sort of adjustments or anything. One, I acknowledge that the army is a top tier army and is doing fantastically in the meta. Two, I am not good at this game. My recommendations have nothing to do with trying to make the army work better. It's just simply changes that I think would be more narrative and potentially and probably be more fun from my perspective. So you probably are going to disagree with me. So again, any sort of disagreement you have, go over to AOS Coach's most recent video and tell him why you think the KO that we have now is better than the KO that I'm going to come up with here in a couple minutes.
Matt, I gotta be really honest with you here. Are you stealing the idea from Warhammer Weekly, fixing armies? Are we fixing KO right now?
No, we're not fixing it because, again, it's a top-performing army. There's nothing wrong with it.
They do it with top performing armies too. They how to make it better and more well-rounded. Are you stealing this idea?
No, I'm not stealing this idea.
Okay.
I've had the idea. I've had the idea for much longer.
Okay.
This is the reason why I started the show, and I wanted to start it a year ago.
Okay. I'm gonna be second. I'm gonna blunt number 2.
Yeah.
You wanna know what my least favorite Warhammer Weeklies are?
Yeah, that's fine. You can go to sleep.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
So
it's nothing with Tom and Vince. I love you guys. I always, whenever you do a fixing show, I listen up through the hobby and the news, and I usually just tune out because those shows don't interest me. I don't know why.
And Tom and Vince, those are my favorite episodes. Keep them coming. Love them. I skip over all the hobby stuff and go straight to the fix. And then
So you get one whole view between us.
No, unlike Chuck, I actually care about you guys more and watch the whole episode. So,
okay. I was gonna be mean about Tom, but I won't.
hey, he doesn't have to remember my name for me to care about him. All right.
There it is.
But yeah, so I think the best thing that could do is cover up first of besides the lore, like I already stated, what I don't like about the army. So right now, it's a lot of run and gun, which does tie into the narrative that I don't like of like, because the dwarves of fantasy, they running was a last resort. It was very much stand your ground, honor, blah blah blah. Now it's wait for them to turn around and then shoot them in the back. And so like I don't like that narrative. I don't like that feel. I don't like the fact that everything in the army is so pliable. I mean, just weak. The new book it did make them more durable. I do like that.
Yeah,
but
I do understand. You want that shield wall type unit where you put it down somewhere and you go,
yeah,
you are not moving this. I am a dwarf. I am stubborn. Good luck.
And honestly, I think if you change some of the things around, I think you can do it with the models we have here now. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that drives me nuts with the book is just all what I've been referring to is toe stubbing, where where it's like, ooh, a good rule, ow, my toe.
Yeah.
So yeah, first off in mind, if you're garrisoned, I don't give a crap. Your abilities work. If you can be shot at, if you can be hit, you can use your abilities. Give your opponent a reason to shoot your garrison as opposed to the ship.
Right.
Which was funny. I was actually playing with my Sons of Bahamut the other day, and I was thinking about the Gate Wrecker. I forget the one with the executioner mask. Mm-hmm. How he has this giant chunk of a column that is his flail that he can literally attack everything on board with it and not hurt the ship.
Yes. That makes sense.
So yeah, honestly, I think the first unit I would go to look at would be the Arcanauts, where they have I have a gun. I have a melee weapon. I'm going to suck with both syndrome.
Yeah.
And I think it's necessary. You have to have it like that.
If they're a cheap battle line, that's fine, but you need specialists elsewhere in the army.
Right. And so I think one of the things that I would do to fix that would be they get a push. They get a small buff one way or the other based on how they perform. So, like, if they stand still, they get a bonus to shooting. If they charge, then they get a bonus to their melee. Give them that little bit, and then you can raise their
territory. You get like a reroll ones to save or something.
Right, and then you can. Then all of a sudden, you can start adding that. You can put the points back in there, and they're not just 90 or 80 points or whatever they are for 10 for essentially 1 wound, 5 up nothings. Because, and giving back the weapon profiles, like being able to have one of each is so useless. At least before, whenever you gave them 3 skyhooks, you could get at least 3 good shots out of them, which would scare any heroes.
Right.
And I would probably keep the pistol. Originally, I did not like the idea of the pistols being at 12 inches, but seeing things as the dust settled, I would probably keep them in that way. Well, I said maybe that could even be another thing. If they don't move, add 4 inches to the range.
That's true. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean that. I like that idea, and if they want to solve the issue with the packaging, just release an extra box. Just come up with another sprue that's literally KO armaments.
Do whatever you want.
Right. Just do that. And then just have 3 of every single weapon of every single kind in there and just move on your day. With the Thunderers, I honestly have no idea what I would do with Thunderers. I think I would let them go back to picking weapons per guy. Because as much as that stunk, whenever I was trying to build them, I did end up just buying 5 boxes and just making 5 units with each weapon.
Got him.
But like I said, there's other ways to do it. And again, if you did the armor pack, you'd solve that problem.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know what they're hard to come up with what to do with them. The only thing else I would think of is, and this is the only time I'll bring up a new unit, is if you had a more heavily like an actual anvil unit, something with shields, even if they didn't have any weapons, or if they wanted to steal from War Machine and they had guys with shields that had cannons in the shields.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Like I said, I don't want to go into the realm of creating new units.
Right. You want to fix what's there.
Yeah. And like I said, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of everything because I think a lot of the heroes kind of fall into place.
Yeah, well, it's like with back to just like the Arcanauts, like, or maybe pick something. Like, okay, you want to have a more defensive unit, but this model kit is how it looks. Okay, they have an Aethermatic shield now.
Right.
Like, done.
Well, again, like, I mean, even with the going back to the Lumineth, that they were talking about how the base of the crossbow gun or the ballista has like little things all around the base, and that gives it a protective shield.
Yeah.
So it's like we can narrative it out. It's not a big to do anymore.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the biggest change in the entire army would be the Balloon Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it is a travesty that you have you literally have 4 units in the game, 2 of which do the exact same thing. One does one a little better.
Right.
I don't even understand the point of that. Like, whenever I first saw it, I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing something. One's supposed to be the melee one, and the other one's supposed to be the melee or the ranged one. But I no, they're just, one's the melee one and one's the better melee one.
Yeah.
And again, in first edition, why the engine repair guys were the better attacking unit?
It's like you go to war and you don't want to make the medics mad because they know how to tear apart a body.
Oh, I know. And I'm like, okay, so you gave the Sky Wardens actual guns. You gave the Endrin Riggers
buzzsaws,
rivet guns, and the rivet guns are better.
Yeah. No, that's... Yeah.
So what I would do is I would honestly turn them into and I would turn them into a highly mobile, high point costed anvil.
Right.
And what I would do is I would make the Sky Wardens they would be on the front line. They would be retreat and charge. I would even play around with rules to where they're sky hooks. Or no, the sky pikes. Sorry, the sky pikes prevent a unit from retreating. Mm-hmm. And that way you have this constant like smashing in. They're using their mobility, but they're also being able to stand up, and then have the engine riggers be the one that stay near the ships, repair the ships. Honestly, I would have no problem buying them as individual models, or even upgrades for the ships.
Right. Yeah,
and then that way
that's opening up a lot of weird doors, though. So.
Well, I mean, again, even still, I don't think it would be too weird for one army at this point to actually have kind of like 40k equipment.
And they would be the one that would make sense. They're the technology ones, so sure.
Right, and so like I said, I mean, even if it was, because you could just do a simple thing of like under the unit, like the frigate consists of one frigate and as many engine riggers as you want, or 3 engine riggers, or something like that. And then whenever you just look at the rules, it just says engine rigger 25 points.
Right.
And then that way, now it's part of the unit, so it has to stay in cohesion with the boat. And so now you also have a melee unit, so now you're getting a little bit of melee in for your boat, so now you have a reason why you don't want to necessarily charge the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the 2 units are completely separate of each other. They both fill out their narrative, and they both have a position. Especially if you allow the engine riggers to take these special guns and limit the special guns for the Sky Wardens. Now everyone's happy. And honestly, I think the last thing that I would do to change, the main rule that I would change would be the evacuation rule.
Okay.
I would say, no, you don't get to start. It's not that whole like you have to be 3 inches away. No, I say you remove the ship and you start putting guys in melee.
Yeah, maybe still roll dice. Roll dice for the unit. On a 6, you take D3 mortal wounds.
Oh, I actually have no problem with rolling a die for every model, and every model, every 6 takes a mortal or just kills the unit, or not the unit, the model. The only problem I have with that is like if it is your chemist.
Yeah, that would suck.
That's a little much for a ship that goes down like a Kleenex, Yeah,
I would say roll dice on a 6, take a mortal, take D3 mortal wounds.
I think that would be perfectly fair. And but yeah, because again, in the book they show the artwork of them jumping out of the ship, holding onto ropes with their pirate swords held high, like
because again practice this.
Right. So it's part of who they are. It's part of what they know. There should be no problem with, we ran and charged into the boat. And then again, on top of that, you're also once again giving the opponent the reason to choose, do I go for the garrison shot and lighten the load before I take out the boat?
Right.
Because I know what's going to happen. Because right now it's, I'm going to go and smack that beehive. And what's going to happen? A bunch of bees are going to fly out, and they're going to die because they have to stay 3 inches away from me.
Right. Gotcha.
Whereas, again, let them get into melee. Let them start in melee.
I like that idea. Have a little risk, but let them start in melee. I would really dig that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, honestly, you have to pull the boat out, and you have to, like, everything has to start in melee range. Everything that can't start in melee range, those are the ones that die.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. I like it. I like that a lot.
Well, maybe not. I'd have to work with a little bit more, but or at least just be all models have to be placed within 1 inch of where the boat was.
Yeah. I'd be curious to try that like narratively too. Just see how that works.
Yeah. Well, because again, you don't have a narrative, you don't have a melee strong army, so who cares if you have 15 Arcanauts all of a sudden in your 3 Gore-Gruntas. Like, your Gore-Gruntas will be fine, I promise.
Not an issue.
So yeah, like I said, I mean, I think once you get through those, now all of a sudden you have a little bit of an army with a little bit of backbone. And also, I would absolutely change Barrack Thring, the one that allows you to take other Duarden as allies, or as 1 and 4 can be.
Yeah, I mean, beginning of the year I was all gung ho to make that army, and it like you said, toe stubbing. I couldn't fit in everything I wanted to fit in, like not even close. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna not worry about it now.
Yeah. Duarden points across the board are very awkward.
Yeah. But oh well, it is what it is. Hopefully, new battle tome eventually, and you'll be sitting pretty, taking out my daughter's cane from range.
Well, like I said, the real hope is one day, which will be another episode, where we actually get the AOS dispossessed army.
There you go. That'd be fun. I like army review shows. Those are fun. Which, speaking of which, our next episode, we'll be recording. Actually, I think all 4 of us will be in the same room, and we'll be doing the Daughters of Cain review.
Maybe.
We will. We'll see.
I mean, if we can get everyone to stay sober long enough.
I mean, I'm driving. Well, Neil might be an issue. So, also, shout out, happy birthday to our co-host on our other show, Neil. Today is his 40th birthday. That he apparently spent really hungover. Hope you're doing well.
So I know we've been running a little long here, but Neil's wife reached out to all of us and asked
within the community of friends that are within Ren 4 type area.
She asked us if we wouldn't mind writing a little narrative involving his armies, and a lot of us said yes. And I looked on the Ren 4 page.
Yeah, I was reading that today. It was fun.
So mine's relatively short, so I kind of want to read it real quick.
Sure.
So back whenever, Chuck, you did your tournament, he did his narrative in this Captain Venture log. So I said, screw it. That's what I'll do too. I'll do that too, and I'll have him face my my Mega Gargants. So this is what I had here. Hope it doesn't go too long. But it starts off, Captain Venture Log, Day 183. I, Grumdren Forgeheart, am pleased to report that Operation Thunderdump was a success, and I have captured a cache of Aether Gold large enough to run the Flying Circus for years. Of course, the Flying Circus is the name of his army. Yep. We made our way back to Shaman just at the break of dawn. It still brings joy to these old Duarden eyes every time I see the glint of iron and steel shimmering across the mountain ranges. We should be back to the Skyport with our haul within the week. I can hear the council singing my praises now. Grumdren Forgeheart, the bravest, smartest, handsomest, beardiest Duarden in the generations. That's what they'll say. I might even get a fleet named after me. I'll tell you what, it's nothing but clear sailing from here. Easy days ahead. Nothing can go wrong. Captain Venture Log, Day 185. Fortune continues to shine on the Flying Circus. Just on the horizon, we spotted some nasty Gargants. They will make for easy prey. And with Gargants' love of collecting, we may even find some interesting trinkets. Hulls full of Aether Gold, with Gargant hunting trophies and exotic trinkets in tow, the council will be lining up to kiss my feet. Grumdren Forgeheart, please be the Grand Admiral of all Barrack or Boz. No one can stand in your shadow. We need you. That's definitely what they'll say. Captain Venture Log, Day 186. By Grungy's beard, I thought we were half a day's travel from these damned oafs, but they just keep getting bigger as we keep getting closer. How big do they make these moron piles these days? No matter. The bigger the opponent, the easier to shoot. We still have more guns and ships than they have brains. Nothing can outsmart the the best Barak Urbaz has to offer. Captain Venturelog, day 187. Mistakes were made, even though those spineless Endron masters and chemists wanted to avoid the Gargans and just head back to the Skyport. They assured me we could take them. The biggest of the Gargans just grabbed a gun hauler. I think it was the sassy lady, and threw it straight through a frigate. Ships are being swatted out of the sky like flies. Oh, the dwarf manatee! I think I made eye contact with one of the monsters. By the heart of the forge, I hope not. I need to get out of here. Captain Venturelog, day 201, which is like 14 days later.
Mm-hmm.
It feels great to be back in the sky. The damnable beasts tore my fleet apart. They tore my ship apart and took me captive. Thankfully, some of the fleet was able to escape, and an elite unit of Sky Wardens snuck in and rescued me. By the time I was rescued, engine masters were able to salvage what they could from my ship, and the others that were lost, and the others that we lost. However, they reported that the Mega Gargants, as the crew has dubbed them, went straight for the Aether Gold and smoked it. How in the Ancestors' name do you even smoke Aether Gold? Who even thinks to do that? Long pause. All right. I wasn't going to write this part, but I can't live with it. The beasts, when they captured me, the big one shoved me in his drawers. I was in there for 5 days. Just me and, well, I'd rather not get into it, but it was there, staring into my very soul. As traumatizing as it was at first, I was fine. My gear kept me protected from the environment. However, sometime during the third day, one of his scratching attempts damaged my respirator, and I was forced to remove my helmet. The horrors. The smell was so truly rancid that I feel as though I were living a lie, thinking that I thought I once smelled putridness before that day. My eyes and sinuses were forced open that day to the truth. Now I can't get the smell out. We've gotten it to the point where you only want to vomit when you get a whiff. But I've doubled the amount of times I've bathed in my life in the past 2 days. The chemists have tried every chemical. The navigators have tried every rune in the books. I can't go back to the Skyport smelling like I was raised in an Armagh. Captain Venturelog, day 220. The smell still prevails. And we've exhausted all of our options. The only thing left to do, to Aquashe, where I can, if I can't wash the smell off, I can burn it off. And that's what I wrote.
Excellent.
So I thought that was really fun. I wasn't sure if Neil was going to be like, "That's really dumb," but he seemed to have liked it a lot. So yeah, I'll even allow anyone listening, if you want to go ahead and write Neil a narrative story, go right ahead. He plays.
Put it in the comments below.
Yeah, he plays KO. He plays Korn. He supposedly plays Death. I've never seen it.
Yeah, he plays Nurgle poorly.
Yeah, he got my Nurgle, so you can write about that as well. Yeah, that was my story. Thank you, Internet, for listening.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.
I love you.